I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's an awful idea that this pack is likely going to be an expansion pack based on the leaks. As many of you know, The Sims 3 pets came with cats, dogs, horses, and it also came with NPC animals and rodents and things. And The Sims 4 has split this concept up into many different packs. The Sims 4 cats and dogs, The Sims 4 My Second Pet stuff, The Sims 4 cottage living, and now apparently The Sims 4 horses pack. The reason why it bothers me that this is likely going to be an expansion pack is because when you look at occults, in The Sims 3, all of the occults were bundled into one pack called the Supernatural pack. This had vampires, werewolves, fairies, spellcasters. It even had zombies, of all things. In The Sims 4, of course, these have been split up into game packs, which I'm not a fan of at all, but at least EA kind of tried to make them worth the money, because the occult packs are all game packs and they all have a world and they all have their own separate build stuff and cast stuff. But with the horses pack, if it's going to be an expansion pack, it's just as bad, but it's a little bit worse because an expansion pack is obviously more money than a game pack. If you're going to isolate a tiny bit of gameplay, you should put it in a game pack, really, because that's the whole point of a game pack. If you isolate a tiny bit of gameplay and stretch it out into an expansion pack, I think that's where the criticism comes in. But the weird thing is, a lot of Simmers are not really that critical about it, and I think the reason why is because there are a lot of horse girls who play The Sims. I see so many comments from horse girls saying like, oh my god, I'm so excited to have horses. I think they genuinely love horses so much that they literally don't care about spending the money. It is a little bit upsetting to me because like The Sims 4 has one of the most dedicated fan bases I've ever seen in any video gaming, world in history. Content creators like me come out and we say, packs like The Sims 4 My Wedding Stories, like it's literally broken, like it does not work, it's shite, it doesn't work at all, and you all still buy it anyway, fully knowing that it doesn't work because you're addicted to having the full collection. The Sims has always been a very weird game with its audience base, and even though this pack is likely going to be a little bit exploitive and cash grabby, I know you're all going to buy it anyway and be obsessed with it, and I'm right, so you can't criticize me for saying that. I'm coming out here to say I think it's getting out of hand, and I have a prediction about what this pack is going to be like, and I think it's going to disappoint. You're all going to buy it anyway, and you're going to pretend you like it, but I think deep down you're going to be disappointed, and here's why. Firstly, I think the whole concept of having a horse ranch may actually be quite good. Oh my god, guys, a wasp just came in my room. Okay, that teaches me for leaving my window open whilst recording a video. It's quite hot outside. The UK gets extremely humid in summer. It's not like nice heat, like it's very cloudy outside, but it's very humid. And that was my bad for leaving the window open. I'm flustered now. I've gone red. Anyway, I think the actual horses gameplay will not be severe. I'm not saying it's going to be great, but it won't be severe. And that's because I think they're going to isolate it into one specific lot in the new world that's coming with this pack. I reckon it's going to work exactly like The Sims 4 High School Years does. So, in The Sims 4 High School Years, there's one high school. You can't build a high school lot in any other place, in any other world. You can only have a high school on that one specific lot in the world that came with High School Years. I think it's going to work in the exact same way with the horses pack. I think the pack is going to come with between 1 and 3 different ranches, and I think that you're only going to be able to use those ranches in that world, and I also think that you'll only be able to use horses within that world, which is obviously a massive downgrade. Firstly, because horses were like 1/3 to 1/4 of the Sims 3 pets pack, and you could have horses in any world and they can freely roam anywhere, so that's already a massive downgrade. If this new expansion pack world comes with, let's say, 3 areas, and you have to load into each area separately so they can roam around but only in these areas, and you can only tie them to this specific ranch and you can't build your own ranch in other worlds, I think it's going to be a massive issue, and I think it's going to leave people a bit disappointed. I also think within 3 days of the pack being released, a modder is going to find a way of building horse ranches in other worlds like they did with the High School Years pack, leaving console players and PC players who don't use mods even more disappointed. And another reason, of course, is because The Sims 4 literally does not have open worlds. The whole point of having a horse is that that you can roam around openly, freely, anywhere. I actually saw the most hilarious comment on a YouTube video I did. Here it is. Horse locked to a barn, click, go on a ride, sim climbs on a horse, both disappear, horsing around +2, happiness mootlet. I definitely think the way horses are going to be implemented isn't going to be the best because they simply can't facilitate open gameplay without an open world. I do think the pack is going to come with some kind of maybe a career. I don't know if I call it a career, but maybe like a hobby kind of thing where you have to look after and train horses, where you have to, you know, exercise them, keep them fed, clean their barn out. What do you call it? Not a barn, a stable, clean their stable out. I think you're going to be able to teach them different, you know, galloping, trotting styles, and that'll be fine, to be fair, probably. But I think it's going to disappoint a lot in terms of the general horse's gameplay, because what can you really do with a horse apart from look after its needs? You know, maybe you could take it on a trail around the brand new world where you walk past a beautiful river or you walk through a meadow with the horse. But, you know, walking is just like walking. Do you know what I mean? Like, is it going to be like, you know, for example, with The Sims 4 Growing Together, the latest pack, it came with a brand new park and there's an interaction to go on a hike in the park, but like it's just like walking like this, like you're just watching your Sims perform a walking animation, but that's not gameplay. I just have a feeling that the pack is going to come with a lot of animations and not much gameplay, which I think will leave people a little bit disappointed. In terms of the world itself, every single Sims 4 world is disappointing because it's got this closed lock system and none of the Sims 4 worlds contain any interactable objects, or it gives you absolutely no incentive to explore the world. Having said that, I do think the world in this pack may be all right looking aesthetically. I know a lot of people were worried that it would look like the Sims 4 Strangeville world, and rightfully so. And I also agreed, but having a think about it, I think it's going to look different. I had to do some research on this because I'm very bad at North American geography, and let's be honest, all of the worlds in the Sims 4 are based on the United States of America, so this will also be based on the United States of America. I had to do so much research, and the first thing I googled was United States yellow grass. Anyway, I ended up on a place called Wyoming. Am I pronouncing that right? This is what I think the world will look like, okay? Looks a bit like Switzerland, actually. I think it's going to be like yellow grass. Do you know what I mean? Like the hot yellow grass. I think it's going to contain a lot of like rivers that look like this and mountains. Maybe this is what it'll look like in winter if you have the Sims 4 Seasons 2. I also heard in Wyoming that you might have geysers, so maybe there's going to be a geyser somewhere in this new world. And I think there's going to be one area in the world that's going to be secluded where you have 1 or 2 ranches that looks like this. Apparently this is what the average town looks like in Wyoming. I'm not going to lie, I think the town is not the most visually appealing place, and I think they're going to do something different with it. But in the Sims 4 live stream, we had a sneak peek at 2 new worlds. Obviously the one in the right came to be San Sequoia from the Growing Together pack. The one on the left we haven't actually seen yet, and this looks very colorful and fun, but you'll see in the top here there are mountains, which makes me think it's going to be like Wyoming. I'm so sorry if you're from Wyoming and I'm butchering the pronunciation of this state or city or whatever it is. And to be fair, a lot of the houses look quite old-fashioned, and I think it would go with the aesthetic of like a little mountain town, if you know what I mean. So I'm genuinely convinced like the world will be very good looking. I just don't think it's going to come with enough gameplay to justify it being an expansion pack. I've heard people say rumors that it might come with other animals like goats or bisons or something else. Maybe, I don't know, sheep. The thing about that is we already have the Sims 4 cottager living. You know, a goat is basically the same as a cow. Like, obviously they look completely different, like they're completely different animals, but they would function in the exact same way. Same with sheep, like a sheep would literally function like a llama, so I highly doubt they're going to include those. Also, guys, I'm really not convinced that this pack is going to come with unicorns. I'm really just not that sure if we're going to get unicorns in the horses pack, because the Sims seem to be obsessed with separating occults out from everything else. Someone said, I'm going to be honest here, without a proper open world, I don't know how horses would stay engaging. This is why I honestly think it's going to be implemented similarly to the high school years pack, like the high school itself, because it's tied down to like one specific lot, which is in its own like special neighborhood. I think with Horse Ranch, you know, there's going to be one horse ranch and it's going to be tied to one specific area, but there's going to be no other lots in it. And I think that's how they're going to do it, which is obviously the best that they can do in The Sims 4 based on its limitations. But at the same time, it's not really going to be the same thing as the Sims 3 horses pack. Of course, though, this could all be fake. It could all be a lie. Although based on the compelling evidence that we've received so far, it's highly likely that this is going to be a horses pack. I'm also very much convinced that the pack after horses is going to be fairies. Well, I think horses is going to be the final expansion pack pack that we get this year. That's my theory. And I believe that for the rest of the year, we're just going to get kits, but then maybe early next year, or maybe at the end of this year, we're going to get fairies. You guys know I'm very critical about The Sims 4 and the way EA kind of handled The Sims 4. And I think that The Sims has lost The Sims. It has a Sims 4 skin on it, like it has Plum Bobs, but it doesn't really feel like The Sims to me anymore. It's starting to feel to me a little bit like Roblox, the way Roblox has like a unique style and skin, but there's like a million different Roblox games which are all different. Like The Sims is starting to feel like that to me, and I just don't like it. And I'm not going to be excited about the horses pack. I know I'm not. I know I sound like a pessimist, but it was the same with Growing Together. When Growing Together was first announced, I was genuinely so excited. I thought, oh my god, this is going to be the biggest and best pack of The Sims 4. As far as I'm aware, by the way, I think Growing Together is now supposedly like the best-selling Sims 4 expansion pack or something. Like, it's that popular. But I remember when I was reviewing it and playing it, I thought to myself, like, this is just UI changes. Like, Growing Together doesn't even come with any gameplay, really. It just comes with brand new UI. It comes with pretty icons of, you know, milestones. But, like, it just doesn't come with any gameplay. Yet it's gone on to be one of the most popular packs ever. I just think expectations for The Sims 4 has hit a whole new low. Like, the bar is so low. EA could release a pack about greenhouses and people are literally orgasming over, like, window panes. Like, I'll be honest, like, it's all got a little bit insane for me, and I just don't know how I feel about it. I do want to enjoy The Sims 4. This is a really frustrating thing. I have a feeling, by the way, that the horses pack may be announced tomorrow, or they may reveal, like, when the trailer is going to come out or something, because tomorrow is obviously Monday. So if they do that, I'll make a video on it, of course. But if they don't, I have a video coming out tomorrow where I play the Sims 4 retail system, and retail is my favorite thing in the Sims 4. Get to Work is like my favorite pack, but I really struggled to enjoy it, and I tried really hard to enjoy it, and I literally couldn't. And it's because the way it was implemented was very shallow and broken, and I'm in this weird state in the Sims 4. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I just feel like there's so many aspects of the Sims 4 that I think are good and I really want to enjoy, but I just can't because of the way it's been implemented. I think the Sims 4 itself is an awfully coded shell, and I think it makes it very difficult to make the game good. That's my opinion anyway. I've always said if we had the Sims 4 aesthetics and the Sims 4 cast and build tools, but put in the Sims 3, that would be like the perfect game for me. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I wanted to talk about how Sims 4 expansion packs I think are getting a little bit out of hand. And I hope EA recognizes one day that it has a very loyal player base and rewards that player base for being loyal instead of exploiting them, which is what I think they're doing. Because if they weren't exploiting them, they wouldn't have turned horses into a full-on expansion pack. They would have done the dignified thing of either putting it with cats and dogs as like a refresh, or they would have made it a game pack. I mean, it could be a game pack because it hasn't even been officially announced yet. Maybe this whole leak was a deliberate ploy by EA to harness opinions before they go on and release it. Who knows? Anyway, a game that I am excited for coming out is Life by You. In my recent video, I discuss things I'm excited about and also some concerns about it. So make sure you check that out. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.